messed up the first time and companies woken up and he started coughing. Please excuse company, he's not very well. He'll never get rid of that cough now. Anyway, now we stopped. Typical. Right, the JU88. I've started it, and the first thing is first part I wanted off. Problem. Not much of a one. There's this part just here. Here's a photo. As you can see there, it's broken. The best way to repair this is either get another bit of wire or get the photo etch stuff, because it replaces most of this. Actually, the photo etch does, but I'm not using photo etch. So what I need to do here is repair it. Now I'll leave it on the tree, I don't take it off. I marry the two ends up so that they're nice and square and there's no kink in them or anything. It's quite easy when it's still on the tree because that holds it in its place. Now I'm going to drop a bit of glue on this tonight, and I'll take a picture of that and be up here. And in the morning when I come back to do this, I'll show you how I cut these off without breaking them. Now, here's my little tip. Now this has dried, I need to get this off without putting pressure on it where it's got broken. Some of you have seen me do this before. I use a candle, one of those little night lights, and heat the blade up, which is an old blade on my knife actually. And when that's hot, I come along and straight through like that. That's cut that off without any hassle or any pressure put on that small part. Now you can do this with all the small parts, and there we go. I'll do it on camera, so I'll take the whole part off, and just one more, which should remove the part that easily. No pressure's been put on it and it will not break. Okay, and there we have the part. No stress, it's been glued back together again, no harm done. Now that's been drying, can't do anything more to the cockpit, so I'll turn to the fuselage to do the back end. Now I don't know where you can see this because I've left one on the tree. Excuse my mouth, couldn't get the words out. But as you can see here, there's quite a gap here, big old gap for the tail wheel, and you see inside, so those ribs have got to be done. I thought I might be able to get away with it by the time the wheel gets in there. You wouldn't see in there, but you will. It's such a big opening. So first thing, I've got a knife, I've got sanding sticks, and that should do it. Oh, hang on a minute. Two ways you can do this. You can make a drawing, or this is for people who don't know or new to the hobby. Make a drawing, or just leave. See, I need to get to that one. I need to get that one. I can leave that on there. So I can, everything between these lines I could take off, basically, along there, and down to the doorway. If I take those off, I can fill in the pin marks. Yes I do. I'm taking these out here, so I'm leaving this one here. If I put an arrow to there, I'll put an arrow to that one there. Okay, next job is, well, that's drying, I'm going to take these ribs out, but this rib that runs all the way along here, I've marked an arrow at either end. Now I'm going to leave those on there. That gives me a mark to put that piece back in again. The others are straight down. I know where they go, but I'm going to take a photograph of this just to make sure that I don't forget. That way I've got a record of what I'm doing as well. if it's all focusing on. Is it me? There we go. That's working again now. Is it? Hang on. Shut down. That's it. Keep stop working that thing. I've got to get a new one. But now I'm just going to start carving these ribs off. Do I need to take that out? Can I get in there without taking that out? Do as little damage as possible. Do as little damage as possible. Now, I don't know whether you can see that. I managed to leave the centre rib in. I've only had to take the two centre ones out. I can get in there with a skinny stick and sand those off. The bottom ones will have to have some filler in, but I can still get the skinny stick in there and leave that horizontal one. So I've only got to put back one of the spars, two spars, not one. I'll do this with a sponge because it will conform to the curve. I won't be trying to file a flat on the curved surface. That's what's good there, you know. This is ploy models. I do like theirs. Sorry, scale, international scale modelers or modeler. I know you do your own sticks, but I haven't seen you do the skinny ones. I've seen the big ones, but not the skinny ones. 3 I managed to sand down flush to the side, so we won't see those. But the other 2 are below the surface, so I'm going to deal with those. What I normally do is I use liquid putty that I make up myself. Here's another little tip that I've got to do right now, is making liquid filler. Like Mr. Surfacer 1000, whatever. I used green putty. This has come out of an actual tube that was rock solid. So, actually it's still a bit in there, I can use that. Don't waste anything. If it comes out of here, it should do. There we go. Just drop it into an empty jar. Again, I'm using a Tamiya jar for this, so that that'll do. Nothing left in there. I'll chuck them away. And just let me tip these back in here before I do any more. That in there, that in there. You can get this is MMD green putty. You could use fresh stuff. Doesn't matter. I'm using old hard stuff to get rid of it. The next thing you need is cellulose thinners, or lacquer thinners if you're in the States. And you need to pour this into the jar with the putty. I'm going to fill it about half full, I think that'll do. I've got a rather big lump in there, and very hard. It won't take long to start melting. And it's already that big lump. I'd only just gone through the top of this Tamiya jar, and it's now able to roll about. That's how quick this is. But what I'm going to do is, I don't need to use this until tomorrow. But if I wait till tomorrow, I'll have to wait a little bit longer for this to do it. So I'm going to put the top back on. Right, once you've filled well, about half of this with cellulose thinners, put the top back on. You can give it a bit of shake if you like. Can you hear that? I think you can hear that. Oh, that's a solid lump. It's already started to move in now. I jammed it in. It's already started to move. We will need to leave this overnight so that putty can be dissolved into the thinners. And something on that jar there. Excuse me, I've got something on the jar here. It's a bit sticky. Oh, it's where the label was. That's it. There we go. Right, Now we poured the thinners in. This needs to be left overnight so it can do its job and dissolve the hardened putty I have in here into a paste. So I'm going to put that to one side now, and I need to get on with my JU88. Now, the way to put these ribs back in, now we've dealt with the pin marks, you can stretch a sprue and you can to about the right thickness and then pop that in there and glue it and cut it to length. Cheapskate way. My way. Or you can use evergreen card, excuse me, I can't pick this up, there we go, and buy the right thickness, or you can cut it off a piece of plastic card, the right thickness, and put that in there and glue that in. Either way, perfectly acceptable. Now, you can see the blackness where I've glued this down. I just used some old glue. It's got a bit of black in it. I wasn't going to use it for most models, but I thought it would be good in this situation where you can see the actual part I've glued, which is just this piece here and this piece here. This is an evergreen strip and this is the sprue strip. Now, when this is dry, I'm going to give it a light sanding over just to clean up the top edge, and then I can give it a spray of paint and she'll be ready for closing up. Now I've got to deal with these pin marks. I've got one up here, and there's one there, and a couple in there, and sorry, one there as well. So you've got to deal with those. Here's the other side. Now, I didn't touch this pin mark up here, but I did do this one and these two. This one here, this one here. There was one there, I think, and one there. They've all been sanded off now. I'll just do this on the other side.